Okay, welcome to part two, Know Your Enemy. So we talked a little bit about this in a previous video that we did during All-Star break, but I want to go into a little bit more. So 2018 review, we touched on a little bit of this just now with showing you my results. So if you played at DraftKings and you're not sure, look your name up on here. And you got to be honest with yourself. Nothing is going to be productive if you're kidding yourself into being a good player. With stuff like this, we can see how people did. So the facade of putting up, we like to lie to ourselves, and if you had a big week, and you got torched the rest of the season, be realistic about that as well. If you had a good season, be realistic, but know yourself, know how you did, because if you have an ego about it, you're going to fail. You're going to suck this year. But if you go into it with the right headspace of how you did, you're going to be fine. So I want to talk to you at this next part about the projection sites. So this is really cool. This came out today. Daily Roto put this out earlier today. They are letting their NFL optimizer, their projections, and letting you play around with it for free for the next 2 weeks. So that's awesome. So this year for my premium content, I'll be using Daily Roto and SaberSim. SaberSim's doing a lot of back-end work on their product, and that's one of the things that we're going to talk to Matt about on the podcast. By the time you watch this, it'll probably be up on the YouTube page sometime next week. So really excited to hear more about everything that they've done with upgrading this. But I wanted to also, so let's open up a new tab. And I put in the notes navigating FantasyCruncher, which we just did on how to study. Now I want to show you how to navigate FantasyCruncher. To use that as your preferred lineup builder, but by using projections of another site. So we'll go ahead and we'll open up FantasyCruncher. And FantasyCruncher actually has the week one stuff up already. And I did a video that will come out before this series, just a refresher on how to download and upload lineups to DraftKings and FanDuel. I didn't want to include it in this video. I know a lot of you people already know how to do that, but I know some of you are also getting into Matt's multi-entry for the first time this year, so that video is for you. So if you go here and you click on week one, it'll take us to all of our week one players, and they just have the main slate up right now, which is fine. That's all I want to focus on. So while that's uploading, I'm going to go to Daily Roto, and this is how you can navigate. So they have the two showdowns already up. And I want to download the projections for the main slate on Daily Roto to build on, to show you guys how to navigate putting in this stuff. So it uploads everything. Here's the projections. If you want to look at their, they have standard projections, and then they usually have other projections over here for like the percentiles, which we covered in baseball. But we'll just download what they have right now. If you go to, it's been a minute. Right in front of my face, CSV. I need a cup of coffee. So we're going to download the projections. So I'm going to close this for now. And again, if you want this sheet, email me. I'll send it to you. All right, so this is what comes up when you pull up the projections. It sends you the whole CSV. Over here all the way to the right is where they have the projections. So what I do is if you hit, I use a Mac. So if you use Command Shift down, it'll highlight the whole cell. And then Command C to copy, or Command X to cut. Either way, I'll just use Command C to copy. And then if you hit Shift Command left, it'll take you to the other side of the screen, or you can just scroll with your mouse, whatever. Then what I'll do is I'll usually do this before. I'll insert a cell, go back, paste it, same thing, Shift, hold Shift, Command down arrow. Actually, you know what, let's get rid of everybody with a 0. So I'm just going to delete everybody with a 0. All right. So now we go to our player pool. And again, in the last video, I just touched on how to do this. So the first thing I always do is just clear everybody out. Just clear everybody out. Go to upload data. And then copy and paste here. We just took our projections and uploaded here. Click upload projection. If done correctly, the screen that we're looking at right now will go from white to green. Okay, so I'm glad that it did this so I can walk you guys through this. So it says we have a player name problem. Sometimes the way that they put a player name in on Daily Roto or SaberSim is different from the way that the player is listed in FantasyCruncher. So we're just going to click OK. So when this happens, just click OK. Remove successful rows. So everybody that's in green, when I click this button, will be removed, and it'll just show CJ Azama, or however you say his name, in red. Okay? So what we want to do to fix this, you can always just close this. It's actually easier. Just close it and then type in Uzama's last name. And so the reason it's not taking his projection is because we uploaded CJ with no periods in between, and the way they have his name loaded is C period, J period. It's a little thing, but it can matter. I know this isn't a really key player. You know, he's a backup tight end, but just in case you guys need to do this. So it's a real simple fix. You just click, and you have periods, abbreviations, whatever. Click upload again. It'll go to green. Now he's successfully loaded. So we'll clear that out. So now anytime you have a projection that's a custom projection, it will be green or red. Green means you are higher than the FC projection. Red means you are lower. So what we want to then do is we want to do what we just talked about in the last video. Click this button, My Projections. It'll highlight everybody that we have a projection for, then go to My Pool. So we just cut our player pool, just cut out having to check all those boxes. Go to My Pool. And there you go. So now we have all of the Daily Roto projections uploaded into FantasyCruncher, and we can start building, messing with our settings, and we'll come back to this page in a couple minutes. So that is who I'll be using for projections. Daily Roto, Drew Dinkmeyer every Wednesday comes out with an article that he writes, and I know that there's some sites out there that will write 10,000 word articles about the matchups, and it's noise. You guys don't need to read that stuff. Most of those guys do not play DFS or are losing DFS players or cash game players. They're not tournament players. You can read it for the entertainment value if you want, but you don't need it. The only thing that you need to read to get up to speed about what went into these projections is the article that Drew Dinkmeyer releases every Wednesday. That's it. It'll take you maybe 20 minutes. If you read everything with a fine-tooth comb, probably 5 minutes. You don't need to read these 30,000 articles written by people who aren't winning players. Stop listening to people who aren't winning players. If you want a deeper look, I'm not trying to put anybody in blast, but the proof is in that spreadsheet. I just get irritated when people try to bully you into buying their stuff when they don't know what they're talking about. They don't help you become a winning player, and they just steal your money. It just really irritates me to no end. When for the same amount of money or less, you could go to Daily Roto or SaberSim and get way more empowered. So didn't intend to get on the soapbox. Again, I try to keep it positive and celebrate the people. So projection sites, navigating Cruncher, know yourself. Okay. So know yourself. This was the video I was referring to that we did for MLB baseball season. It's basically about 20 videos or so back. And basically what I talk about here is how playing this game affects you mentally, emotionally, and how exercising some of the things that we're going to talk about, like good bankroll management, will help you. So know how, if this is your first time playing tournaments or your first time really taking DFS serious, watch this to understand what I'm talking about with how this game affects your brain. And then again, going back to this last piece, who can you trust? Anybody that puts out content, if you can find their DraftKings name, or if you don't know it and you want to ask me, you can search on that sheet. Email me for the sheet. Again, I'm not putting anybody on blast, but if you want to, hey, this guy says I should sign up for his site. There's tout sites that just want to steal your money and make fun of you for losing and blow smoke up your ass and say, oh, if you were just here last week, you'd be a millionaire this week. And then there's content producers that are actually helping you get better. Daily Roto is a content producer. SaberSim is a content producer. FantasyCruncher is a content producer that I trust. Everybody else, I'm not going to vouch. I don't use their products. I don't have any positive experiences like I do, and I want to keep this positive. So again, don't listen to me because I haven't had a winning NFL. Well, I had a winning NFL season, but not like I win at baseball or basketball. So don't listen to me. I don't really care what you do. I'm just trying to help get you more educated so you can take the tools and decide what is best for you in your business. But before you, I know everybody's excited and everybody's trying to sell you their football package right now. And I know there's other good ones than Daily Road on SaberSim. Those are just the ones that I use. All I'm saying is find out who the players are behind putting in the content, and then look at the sheet and see if they've made any money. Number one, some of these guys will have lost a ton of money, and it's like, all right, well, they lost a ton of money, but they also had a ton of money to lose. So, did they win that because they were a winning player and had a bad season? That could be the case. Or are they using your subscription dollars to, you're basically bankrolling them to be losing DFS players, which that's fraud. Touts are essentially fraud. And one of the things that we're going to go into on one of the sheets later is where I'm going to show you the reality of what it looks like over the course of the season. And these guys that are talking about winning every week are, we touted this guy. It's like, yeah, you guys tout every single player. So if you tout Julio Jones and Antonio Brown and, Calvin Ridley, and one of those three guys does well, it's like, well, no shit, Of course, at least when you tout everybody, someone's going to do well. And that's what a tout does. A content producer educates, shows you what direction you could take it and how to approach the slate from a sharp perspective, and are using their own numbers. Because that's the other thing is some of these content producers will, hey, come to my site for me and then delegate you to other people. Or, hey, this guy's going to do the projections and I'm going to use my own projections. It's pretty shady. So just be aware of that kind of thing before you go out doling your money. A lot of people are doing the right thing. Those are people that I want to highlight. But, as far as I'm concerned, you don't really need to look past Daily Roto or SaberSim for your content. Do whatever you want. It's a free market system, but I will go to bat for those guys. They don't pay me. It's just products that I've used to make a good living doing this. So that's what I mean when who can you trust. If the guy is just trying to sell you on a screenshot, or he's trying to sell you on, hey, I write 50,000 word articles, it's like, all right, I could write a 50,000 word article too. Doesn't mean it's any good. And if these guys aren't playing DFS, but they're trying to sell you DFS content, that's a huge red flag. You should run as fast as you can in the other direction. So I'm happy to point anybody in the right direction. If there's a site that you're considering and you don't know if it's a tout site or a content site, I'm happy to point you in the right direction and help show you the difference. I hope you guys got a good amount of value on this in knowing your enemy. And one other quick thing is it's pretty elementary is, know the scoring systems. DraftKings is a full point PPR, and they give bonuses for 300 yards and 100-yard games. FanDuel and Yahoo are half-point PPR. There's another fourth site, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about them because I don't think that they do the right thing for players, so I'm not even going to mention their names. So just know the difference. If you're going to play on Yahoo and FanDuel, they're half-point PPR. DraftKings is full-point PPR. You should know that, but if you don't, that's okay. So yeah, we're going to wrap this section up, and we'll head into section 3. Appreciate you guys.